Have you ever noticed someone who doesn't argue, doesn't explain, and doesn't warn you before they distance themselves? One day they're present. The next, they're simply unavailable. No drama, no announcement, just space. Psychology says that behavior isn't random. In fact, people who set silent boundaries often operate from a very specific mindset. Let's break down the real psychology behind people who set silent boundaries. Hashtag 1. They value peace over winning. Some people argue to prove a point. Others argue to protect their ego. But people who set silent boundaries usually aren't interested in winning. Psychologists link this to emotional regulation skills. They understand that not every conflict deserves their energy. Instead of fighting for control, they quietly remove themselves from what disturbs their peace. For them, peace is more important than being right. Hashtag 2. High self-respect. Silent boundaries often come from strong self-worth. Research on self-esteem shows that people with secure confidence don't feel the need to beg for better treatment. If something feels disrespectful, they don't always announce it. They adjust their access. Less availability, less vulnerability, less effort. Not to punish, but to protect. That's self-respect in action. Hashtag 3. They understand patterns quickly. People who set quiet boundaries tend to be highly observant. They notice repeated behaviors, inconsistencies, subtle red flags. Psychology calls this pattern recognition linked to social intelligence. Instead of confronting every issue verbally, they evaluate actions. And when actions don't align with their standards, they respond with distance, not drama. Hashtag 4. Internal locus of control. These individuals often have what psychologists call an internal locus of control. That means they believe they are responsible for their own well-being. They don't try to control others. They control their own exposure. If a situation feels unhealthy, they don't demand change. They change their position within it. That's quiet strength. Hashtag 5. Emotional maturity. Silent boundaries are often misunderstood as coldness, but in many cases they reflect emotional maturity. Emotionally mature people understand that not everyone is ready to understand your perspective. Not every conversation leads to growth, and not every relationship needs closure. Sometimes the healthiest response is reduced access, no speech, no performance, just clarity through action. So next time someone sets a silent boundary, don't assume they're avoiding conflict or being distant. They might simply know their worth. They might value peace. They might have learned that not every lesson needs to be spoken out loud. Sometimes the strongest boundary isn't loud. It's quiet and final. If you enjoy understanding the deeper psychology behind human behavior, subscribe now. Because on this channel, we don't just observe behavior. We decode the mind behind it.